B-I-N-G-O, B-I-N-G-O, B-I-N-G-O. Where should all this yarn go? Hey guys, I'm Bella, the Maker Mama boss lady behind Fiber and Fox, and this is episode 76 of my podcast. If you are new, thank you for joining me. If you are not, thank you also for joining me. I'm a crochet designer and I also knit, and apparently I sew now, but there's not too much sewing content in this one, a little pinch, and I have an epic thrift yarn haul to share with you, like a lot of yarn. So if any of that sounds like something you'd enjoy, please join me. I have the fan off, I have the windows closed, there's no AC in here, and if you've watched the last couple episodes, I have a hard time filming in summer because my camera likes to overheat, but we're gonna do our best. It's not too hot today, but if I open the window you can hear all of the beautiful frog and cricket sounds, which is lovely, but kind of distracting as background noise the entire time. So we're just gonna close it and do what we can. I usually start off with any admin-y bits. I don't have anything super admin-y to share at this point, other than anything that I talk about as far as patterns, yarns that I have the links to, and anything like that. It's going to be linked down below the video. Any videos that I mention, all that stuff. Show notes down below in the show more show notes section, down bar, whatever the thing to call it is. You know how it's done. That will all be below for you, and I think that's it. So let's dive in. We'll talk about what I'm wearing first, I guess. This is the Seacomb, I don't remember if it's Seacomb or Seacomber or Seacombed tee by Tiffany Land Hand Knits. She is a fellow Connecticuter. Is that even what we're called? I don't know. I'm from Connecticut, so is Tiffany Lynn. And I was actually part of the test group for this. This is a couple years old, probably. I'd say about 4 years old as a pattern, and it's pretty cute. I'll put in some footage of me wearing it. This one doesn't get a lot of wear in my rotation. I do really like the fiber content. It's a linen fiber blend by a Connecticut dyer, Sassy Black Yarns, and I don't think she dyes linen cotton yarn anymore. It was very early in her yarn dyeing journey that I got this, but I do like the yarn a lot. The yarn base is lovely. It's nice and drapey, it's nice and airy, it's breathable for summer. But the tee is not my ideal for just a couple reasons. First off, I need to over dye it. I don't know if it can be remedied, but one of the times that I blocked it, I left it in the shade outside to dry because cotton takes like forever to dry. So I was like, I'll put it in the shade, it'll be fine. But as the shade does, it shifted in my yard, and I forgot about it. So it was then in direct sunlight, which you shouldn't do for yarn, hand-dyed yarn, any kind of yarn. Really anything you shouldn't put in direct sunlight to dry because it will fade. So I don't know if you can tell in the footage, but there is a distinct color difference from the back of the tee. Like you can kind of see. The back is significantly darker because that was the side facing down. The front was facing up, and it's just kind of sun bleached. It's evenly sun bleached, but visibly lighter. So that I would like to over dye, and I haven't actually done a lot of cotton or linen plant-based yarn dyeing. I've done plenty of messing with plant-based fibers in forms of fabric and plenty of animal fiber yarn dyeing, but I haven't really done the two together. So I would like to try, I don't know, over dye with what, but over dye with something so it's not so faded looking. But I do actually kind of like this color. It's like a purple gray. I enjoy it. But overall, this fit of a tee where it's like drop shoulder but doesn't have a sleeve and no real, there's a tiny bit of sleeve action going on here. Like it's very small. But yeah, I don't like the fit of that super. I would prefer a sleeve to more down here or just like a straight up tank top, which could be remedied in the pattern, I guess, but you work, I think it was top down. I don't honestly remember the construction. It might have been bottom up. It's a while ago that I test knitted this, but it has the signature Tiffany Lynn. She's super into herringbone stitch, which is what you see across the top here, and it's on the bottom hem as well. But it runs straight across the shoulders. So to extend the sleeve, you would have to kind of extend the whole, this part. So it's not easy to just like pick up more stitches and add more length. You can make the ribbing longer, but yeah, it kind of would be funny. It has a little twisted rib cuff here. I don't remember if the twisted rib was my own doing or Tiff's. And then herringbone stitch on the bottom, finished off with an I-cord, and I just definitely had some tension issues on the bottom with the herringbone stitch. It's very hard to get a loose tension with. It's a very tight stitch, and Tiff uses it in a ton of patterns and does a beautiful job. And it's really beautiful. And I feel like I did a better job on the top. So maybe it was bottom up. I'm going to assume that that was the case because my bottom is definitely just tighter and weirder. So it kind of balloons out. The stockinette fabric kind of balloons over the waistline in kind of a weird way. So if I tuck it in, it's all right. And do a little front tuck situation. It's all right. And it's got a cute like drapey tee flow to it. I like the overall shape and ease of it, but yeah, just some execution issues and then the color fading. It does not get a lot of wear. But I figured I'd put on something else because I feel like I've been wearing the same couple things for the last couple episodes out of my summer wardrobe. So that's what we're doing here. I think that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, I like it, just not my favorite. Not my favorite, and might be better if I over dye it. And I haven't knit herringbone stitch since, so I don't know if I've gotten better at it or if it would be just as bad if I tried again. But it's fun. And there's some sort of little slip stitchy side something. I don't know if it's slip stitches or purl stitches. I don't know what. There's a side seam detail thing going on too. It's a cute pattern. Tiff's patterns are cool. Check them out. That's what I have to say about that. I don't actually have any finished objects to share. For the last couple weeks that we've kind of been in vacation mode. We were away for a bit, and I just kind of have a bunch of grab and go projects that none of them are finished because I didn't want to do any of the tedious parts on vacation. So I would get to something, not tedious, but like something where I had to count or do short rows, and I'd be like, nope, on to the next thing and stockinette. I just kind of needed mindless. Sitting poolside, lakeside, kids supervising side, mindless. Something that I could pay attention. So I think, let's do this one first. Let's dig it out. Of course, it's the one on the bottom. This we've seen before, I think. You've definitely seen the yellow version. I made a Dandelion tank for myself. It is a self-drafted pattern. I have not written up the pattern for it, maybe in the future, but that's not happening right now. But I made a yellow version. I can pop in a picture there. We've talked about it the last couple times. And that one was in 100% silk yarn that I had gotten on clearance, and I like it a lot. And I overall like the fit of that one. I feel like the silk is kind of growing in the way that cotton does. I had high hopes because it was really nicely like tailored and fit perfect when I was done. But now that I've worn it a couple times, I feel like the silk is kind of easing into itself and loosening up and getting a little more billowy and drapey than I had originally bargained for. So I'm making another one in some discontinued yarn. What am I reaching? Oh, it's in here. I have the tag. This is a bit of Shibui Knits in the Fern line, and I had gotten it for like 75% off. It's 100% organic cotton in the colorway Tar. So kind of a pricey yarn from the get-go, but 75% off, not too bad. And I really like it. It's a very nice, Tar is a good description. It's like a green gray. And I really actually enjoy this color. And I think it looks pretty cool. So I made another tank. I made it slightly smaller. The yellow one that I was working with was in a DK weight, supposedly. I would say it was more of a sport weight, but this is more of a true fingering weight, and this is 100% cotton, where the other one was 100% silk. So I knew that the cotton was going to grow. So I sized down my hook size from what I was doing on the original yellow, and I made it a little bit shorter as well because I figured there'd be some growth in length. And as of right now, it's a little snug in the fit, but I'm hoping it's gonna grow. It's a little snug and it's a little short. It's just like a weird vest right now. Oh, this is a fun look. This is like some kind of 90s something. You can't really tell sitting down. It does fit around me, and there's still going to be a button band added that is going to give it a bit more girth. But as of right now, it's like a weird little vest. And I think I'm going to do some just like ivory colored buttons on it, little like shirt buttons I have a set of. The other one I did kind of a slip stitch, not ribbing, but slip stitch detail that went up and down for the button bands. And then this, I think I might do more of a traditional crochet ribbing, working that way, that I've used in some of my other patterns that I really like the look of the ribbing. It's an applied as you go slip stitch type ribbing. It's in several of my patterns. And I think once I get that on there, it's gonna sure up the fit a little bit. I don't know if I can show you the length that it's hitting at right now. So yeah, I mean, that's my pants there. So it's very cropped, and it's definitely something I could wear with a high-waisted skirt. I don't think I have pants this high. But I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll carry the ribbing along the bottom as well and add maybe another inch or so, and then assume it's gonna grow with wear and blocking. I lightly blocked this just to make sure it was gonna fit before I like finished it. But yeah, it's kind of got like a Renaissance corset fit thing going on right now because it's very small and tight. But I did want negative ease in this one. The other one had a bit of positive ease. And this one I think I'm gonna have to wear, I mean, you can see with this purple underneath, it's definitely more of a see-through fabric, particularly once I block it out to its full cottony potential. Even though I went down a hook size, the yellow one I'm able to wear with like a nude undergarment underneath, a beige undergarment. But this I think is going to contrast too much with my skin tone. The yellow is kind of close enough that it worked, but yeah. I will update you on this one. I didn't want to deal with the ribbing or anything when I was on vacation because I knew I was going to have to kind of pay attention and try it on and maybe block it and all of that stuff. So, and buttonholes, I was not doing buttonholes placement on vacation. So this one is mostly done. I need to do the ribbing and then I need to just edge around the neckline with my little like faux crochet I-cord thing that I've got going on around the armholes here. And yeah, very, very simple shape. If you were here for the last ones, it's worked. Or the last yellow one, it's worked end to end. So you're working all one piece and then you've seen the shoulder straps. So working up and down, all around to the other side. Seam up the 4 little shoulder pieces into 2 shoulder straps. And this one has my ideal amount of shoulder bra coverage and whatnot with the straps. There are so many cute crochet and knit tanks out there. The straps are like non-existent or a tiny little I-cord or some like nonsense crisscrossy haltering complicated thing. I don't want that. I want to just wear normal undergarments with no fuss, no team strapless, nothing that I have to finagle. I just want my straps to be under my other straps. So that's my ideal, and I think this came out cute. It's got the same ribbing-esque detail under the arm there. Again, I think I may have made my underarms slightly tighter than maybe I wanted. I said I was going to alter it, but then with the smaller gauge, it didn't change too much when I did alter it. But again, with growth and cotton and whatnot, I think it'll be all right. So we'll have to see. This is definitely more form-fitting than something that I normally make and or wear. But I thought over like a flowy maxi skirt, I've been in a sewing mood and lots of skirts. For a maxi skirt or over, I have some like obnoxious undergarment, either like tube top dresses or strappy little top dresses that this could go over as like to turn those into a skirt type look rather than deal with the straps on the dress. So this will get worn. I don't know if it'll work with jeans or shorts or linen pants or whatnot. But that is my second Dandelion tank pattern, maybe possibly someday, but not today. So sorry, but I am pretty happy with that one. And I have lost the hook that I was using and it has now wedged itself into the chair. So I'll be looking for that later. Let's move on to the next project. Found the hook. Good news. Put that in the back before it gets lost. Things get disheveled in the podcast filming. All right, let's talk about the next whip. Not super exciting. You've seen it before, but it's making progress. So this is my, again, we're not sure how to say it, Alba is what I'm going to go with by Caitlin Hunter. It is originally a striped, beachy, flowy, again, like a fabric like this, throw on at the ocean type top. Very similar in, this is not as loose, but similar kind of idea. It's a long sleeve sweater in a cotton linen yarn. And originally it is striped. I am doing mine in a solid color. I am using Patons Croy, not Patons Croy, Patons, I'm so used to saying Patons Croy for socks. Patons Linen in the colorway Sweet Potato. We don't think this looks like a sweet potato at all, but that is in fact the colorway. And it is a linen cotton blend of 65% cotton, 35% linen. available currently at Joann. I don't know. They always like switch in and out yarns, and once you find one you like, it's discontinued like instantly. But currently, as of July of 2024, is when I got this. Maybe I bought it in June, but either way. So what I'm working on here, this is super boring to show you, but we have essentially a body. We've split for the underarms. And according to the pattern, again, it's supposed to be striped, mine's solid. According to the pattern, I should have worked the entire front panel, so all the neck shaping and like the arm shape, any kind of shaping going on. I should have a whole front. I think minus the neck ribbing. But I got to the part in the front where it was like, and now start doing short rows and shaping and things to make the neckline. And I was on vacation, I was like, nope, we're doing stockinette, either flat or in the round, that's all we're doing. So I put that on hold. So this is my front. It's obviously not the whole front, and that's not a whole armpit because that's only 3-something inches long. So just the front is on hold for right now. And it's making a very nice drapey fabric, I have to say. We'll have to see how this yarn holds up, but I like it as of right now. Probably gonna grow again, probably gonna grow a bit, but I'm okay with that for the beachy over cozy sweater kind of look. So I put the front on hold, and I switched to doing the back panel, which looks a lot like the front panel. Gonna sneeze, hang on. Okay, it's during the sneezing fit, but the cat is now having a fuss outside the door, Princess, who usually comes in here and causes chaos. Having been on the vacation, both cats are very needy right now, and also probably why I'm sneezing, because they are so needy. But I'm not letting her in because she's very distracting. So if you hear any fuss out there, it's cat. Yeah, so I'm just working on the back panel, which again is going to hit a point where there's some short row shaping or something for the neck, back, whatever. I have read ahead in the pattern, but not details that I can quote to you or anything. So I think I'm supposed to do like 7 inches or something for the back, and the front, as of right now, is done other than the shaping. So yeah, just a really boring stockinette, giant swath of brickish red fabric, but I like it. I think it's gonna be good. Definitely wants to be wrinkly, given its cotton and linen content. But I do like the fit. I have tried it on. It's very oversized, and like I said, probably is gonna grow and soften up and all of that. So it's coming along. Hopefully next time we'll at least have a body without sleeves. So this isn't a very exciting one to show, but it is definitely serving the purpose of that like mindless kind of, at least for now, mindless take with me wherever, put it down at any point, not super focusing project, which I definitely need on summer vacation-y type things. So it'll get a little more involved, not crazily involved, but with the short rows for the neck and whatnot. But the sleeves, I'd imagine, are basic. I haven't read ahead to the sleeves. I don't usually do that. The sleeves, I think, we're just picking up and doing basic sleeve decrease type things. So that shouldn't be too bad. And yeah, hopefully I will have it for, I'd really like it for like September to have as a layering piece. So that is my Albina, whatever it is, by Boylan Knitworks. I got up to blow my nose and the cat boomed in here and now is hiding. So yeah, I see you. There will probably be more sneezing and somersaulting that will be happening in the near future. But let's talk about my last, right? Yes, my last whip, which is also in kind of just a stockinette swath. This one definitely has some more shaping to it, as it is knit from the top down. But this is a version, don't mind the crazy ends at the top. This is a version of the Sailor Swift top tank. Sailor Swift top by Kotova Kika, Veronica Lindbergh. So it just looks like a stripy tube at this point with some crazy armpit fringe. But this is a really basic tank top pattern. Hers is originally 2 colors, so a main color and a stripe. All right, we're gonna remove her in a moment because this is all she's gonna do. You can stay if you lay right here. If you do any kind of flipping or biting, you're banished. The sneezing. It's really hard loving cats and being allergic to them. But I love them. All right, she's doing her signature somersault move, and I will continue talking about this. This is a really basic tank pattern, as I was saying, and it looks like a really skinny, long tube, but it has quite a bit of negative ease. She's caught in the yarn now. Quite a bit of negative ease to it. So I have tried it on, and though this looks like maybe a full length, garment at this point. It definitely goes that way when I put it on, and it's hitting maybe an inch or so above my belly button right now. And I kind of want it to be at least at my belly button, if not below. Again, I am working with a mainly plant-based fiber here. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But yeah, I opted to do 3 colors instead. You are not abiding by the agreement. Okay, hang on. Opted for 3 colors, which has definitely made it a little trickier. I think I would actually like to re-knit this in a solid color because it seems like it's going to be a really good, just staple, basic piece. The stripe, this isn't going to work into a lot of things in my wardrobe other than under maybe like a jean jacket type layer or something. Or, I mean, I have a cardigan in this exact brown yarn. I don't think I should layer it with that. That's not quite a matching set. It's just a little too matchy-matchy, I think. But anyway, I opted for 3 colors. The gray is that same Shibui yarn from the Dandelion tank. And I think I would have had enough to do it only with the gray stripes. And I originally swatched in it, but I didn't. I actually think I started the tank and worked back. Didn't like it with just the gray. So then I switched to just the white. And I think the brown and the white, I don't know, that was just too much contrast for me. I don't know. I don't love, this is like a natural undyed mill end that I'm holding double from Green Mountain Spinnery. And I've rolled it off into 2 little balls because it's on a cone. So to hold it double, I have these 2 little balls. And then I'm holding the Shibui double as well, because this is a DK weight. And the pattern does say you can use anything from a fingering to a DK weight and just kind of get a different openness to your gauge fabric. To your fabric, still meeting gauge. I don't know if that made any sense. But I opted for DK as the main color. So this brown is Yarn Bee Bambootiful, which I don't know if it's discontinued or not. I bought it a while back in the color Cognac. And this is a DK weight, 50% cotton, 50% viscose from bamboo. And it's a lovely yarn and it wears really well. The only thing is it can be a little snaggly because it's like a bazillion ply, 10 ply, 8 ply, 12 ply. I don't know how many plies are in there, but a lot. So it can be a little splitty and it's very easy to catch on like a ring or a key or something and snag it. I know this from the other garment that I've made in it, and I've also made baby blankets in it, and it's very, it washes well, it drapes well, it wears well. So I'm happy with that. But it also grows a lot lengthwise. Not so much widthwise, but a lot lengthwise. So I'm probably going to knit this down to belly button length and then expect it to get to like full-ish length tank. And in the pattern, she has you carry the yarns because you're only working with the 1 contrast color. But I opted for cutting them along the before you connect under the underarm. Because carrying it along the side, it was just too dramatically messy. It looks crazy now, but I'll sew on these ends because I don't want armpit fringe. And then I did opt to carry them along the side seam here. And she has something in the pattern that says for jogless join. Maybe I'm executing it incorrectly because I wouldn't say that that's jogless. And I'm definitely getting kind of a pull because I am carrying the yarns double what you're supposed to be carrying them, because obviously if it was just 1 stripe difference it would be that much space and I'm carrying it, you know, that much space. So I'm getting a little bit of pulling and hopefully that works out with blocking. It's not gorgeous, but again, it's like the underarm seam, so I'm not super worried about it. But other than that, it's got very clean lines. It's kind of got a high racer back type top in the back and then a pretty high neckline in the front. And I have heard other people who have made it, and in the photos, I mean, she doesn't specifically say what kind of bra she's wearing, but I've had other people say that with a normal bra strap, it does work. But right now, it is cutting in a little tight where I might need like a racer back kind of thing, which I don't want, but we'll see. There is an additional I-cord that's going to go around, and obviously with blocking, hopefully you can just like tuck it in and make it stay, I hope. And people suggest like those convertible clip in the back racer backs or like safety pin it or something. Does it not bother you to have a piece of metal hardware on your spine like when you sit in your car and drive? Because I can't stand that. So yes, convertible hook things in the back is not an option. Again, just normal. I want normal straps. Give me all the normal straps. So we'll see. I hope it works out. And I do have another, where did I check you? Another yarn, this one, that if I do like the fit of the tank, this is a long discontinued, bought on clearance at Joann, like, I don't know, 6 years ago or something, real long time ago. Possibly more than that. This is Natura Just Cotton Medium Denim Vintage Finish, made in Italy, 100% cotton. I don't know what brand, but I bought a ton of it when it was discounted many years ago, and it's kind of a acid washed kind of denim look. I have one little nub of this, which I don't think would be enough to do the striping, but maybe I could do that, I don't know, contrast I-cord or something. But I have enough yardage to do a single colored yarn one in this kind of variegated white, gray, whatever, heather, it's not even heathered, acid washed denim yarn, which is going to be a little hard on the hands because it's 100% cotton, and it's definitely more of that like craft store cotton where the shibui is like fancy cotton. But yeah, I might make another if I like the overall fit of this in the end. But so far, I really like it, and I really like the color scheme that I've come up with. I don't know, it feels very 90s to me. I can't think of any particular example of brown, gray, and white together that this reminds me of, but it feels nostalgic somehow. Comment below if this looks like something to you. And we might as well address it while we're talking about gray, brown, and white. I have some bracelets. This one my daughter made. It's been on quite a few episodes, and you've probably seen it by now. My daughter made it for me. It's great. But when we were on vacation, there was a couple middle schoolish age girls that were selling bracelets that they had made at a little table, like a lemonade stand of bracelets. And I love me a young entrepreneur, so I couldn't resist that. Only thing is they were all very Swifty, and I am not. I say as I'm knitting the Sailor Swift, which I don't think is supposed to have anything to do with Taylor Swift other than it sounds like Taylor Swift. I don't think it's a reference. I don't honestly know. I am not a Swiftie. I am whatever the opposite of a Swiftie is. That's me. Yeah, so this bracelet says Fearless, and they were all like the eras and whatever. Not a fan of Taylor. Hot take. Didn't think that crochet dress was cute either. Definitely was made in a sweatshop. Definitely wasn't like super elevated crochet. Kind of was that like crochet I'm trying to not do because people are like, oh, that's crochet. I don't know. I don't like that. And I'm not super into her music or morals or anything. So yes, not into that, but I did like the bracelets the girls were making, and I thought supporting them would be nice. So this has the same gray, it's similar brown, more of a chocolatey kind of light brown, milk chocolate maybe, than the orange cognac one, and the same like cream white. So it's very reminiscent of my Taylor Swift bracelet. And yeah, I know Fearless is, I actually had to look it up because I was like, I think this is one of the eras. I don't honestly know. It's one of her early albums, right? I couldn't tell you a song that woman has sung recently. I can tell you like the OG radio hits, and I didn't like those either. So feel free to unsubscribe if that upsets you. But yeah, I'm not here for that. But I am here for being fearless. And my daughter was like, "Are you fearless?" Like, no, not at all, honey. I'm a very bold and confrontational person, and also a very anxious and worried person. Somehow, it all fits in there. But we talked a fair bit about how we haven't been given a spirit of fear, but of sound mind and all of that. So yes, fearless in not the Taylor Swift sense. Fearless in the when I am afraid I'll put my trust in you type. Fearless in Christ situation. So that's my take on my bracelet. You probably didn't want, but I needed to clear up for you in case anyone here thought that I was a Taylor Swift fan. I just needed you to know that I wasn't. So that was a rant that you probably didn't want in here, but anyway, let's get back to the actual making content. This will be done soon. Might make another. Let's talk a little bit of sewing and then a massive, wonderfully priced yarn haul. hold on, don't leave. You're going to want to see it. The sewing content is going to be a little harder to show you because I no longer have them in my possession. But I made some project bags, some nice little box bottom project bags, and I'm pretty proud of them. So at some point I'm going to either insert, I think I took some video prior to gifting them, insert some video or insert some pictures or a combo of both. But yeah, I browsed around YouTube, as I do anytime I learn anything, and watched a bunch of videos anytime that I do as I learn anything, and settled on no particular pattern. Again, typical, and kind of just meshed a bunch of things and ideas together. I will link the one video that I followed just for construction's sake to make sure I was doing things in the right order, and where I kind of got the like brain blast of how a box bottom works. It's surprisingly simple. So I'll link that one video. I think it was specific to a pattern that she sells, or is on her blog or something, an actual pattern that you could download by, I'm not even sure. But it was just her speed going through how to do the construction of it. So I did my own pieces and measurements and all of that. So it's not exactly the same, but basic box bottom drawstring construction. Very similar to, in fact, this bag. This was what kind of I was doing for my inspiration. This is one that was purchased for me off of Etsy by A Finch's Nest. The only thing I haven't tried yet is this strap bit, but very similar in construction. I made some canvas bottomed drawstring top project bags. So the first one that I made, insert photo, it definitely has some quirks. I was working with some interfacing. I'm not particularly sure what it is as far, I don't even know how people qualify interfacing, but I feel like it's done by weight, maybe? I don't know. Some interfacing that I had in my mom's barn from high school. I used to do a lot of like applique bags and stuff, again, freehanding, do whatever I wanted. So I had a couple scraps of a thinner interfacing and then a whole bolt of some heavier, thicker interfacing. So I used the scraps on the first one, and it was definitely just a lighter, I'm going to call it lighter weight. I don't know what the right term is, but lighter, less stiff. So the first bag is more floppity, and I only interfaced the outside of it, so I didn't interface the lining as well. But both bags are fully lined. The first one just has a basic lining, solid color, and then the canvas fabric that I was using, I think, is an old curtain because it had like a channel across the top. I'm again not really sure what it is. Got it from my mom's barn. I think it may have been from her stash, not mine, but ultimately the bags went to go be with her anyway because she watches our cats when we're gone anytime. So she stopped in, took care of the cats, and I paid her in project bags. Does anyone need more project bags? Probably not, but I wanted to learn how to sew them, and sometimes they're bags that only a mother could love. But I do think they came out pretty good. The first one was a little wonky. I had issues because, again, I wasn't using a pattern. It was just kind of eyeballing things up against each other. The lining didn't come out exactly the same size as the outing, the outside. So there's a little bit of funny things happening as I attach the two together on the inside, but the outside looks pretty good. Pretty good. The seams aren't great, but it's pretty good. Like, we definitely had some issues lining up, but I noticed like this one, which, you know, I bought from a shop, or was bought for me. And this isn't supposed to be a critique of this bag, but I just don't have the actual ones to show you right now, but it doesn't line up perfectly right there, which I'm fine with. And then the second bag came out a lot better. I used the thicker interfacing and a whole bunch of scraps of pink. My daughter loves pink. My mom loves pink. I don't like pink at all. So I was using a bunch of scraps of pink fabrics and some contrast blues. And I kind of pieced together like a patchwork sort of thing on the inside because I didn't have enough of any one particular pink fabric. And I think that came out really cool. It didn't line up again perfectly at the seams, but everything fit this time. The lining was the correct size. And I did interface the lining. I did little pockets, nice stiff pockets on the inside as well for little stitch markers or whatever. And I used, I forget what gauge or measurement this cord is, but I got some cotton cord type stuff. I had put on Instagram, hey, does anybody know what the cotton cord for like project bags is called? like, what do I order? What do I type in? I don't want to accidentally order like rope. And they were like, cotton cord. It's called cotton cord, cotton cording. So I found some on Amazon, and now I have a whole spool of it so I can make project bags galore, I guess. But yeah, I had done drawstring bags. If you've been around since Christmas time, I did also for my mom a full advent calendar set of little drawstring advent gifty bag things. So I'm familiar with drawstringing, quite, having made over 25 of them. But this was the first time I had done a project bag, and they both came out pretty good. Pink one's definitely better than the other. Again, I will insert either footage or photos or whatever makes the most sense as I'm talking now, because I filmed obviously before we left and then gave them to my mom. Probably could have held on to them, wouldn't really have mattered either way for her, but I wanted to leave them for her as she was taking care of the cats. So that is my most recent sewing attempt. Definitely fun. I don't need a lot of bags. I have this entire cubby is bags, either made by me or like random totes or whatever. Like, I don't have a ton of official project bags. I think this one and then maybe one other are my only like actual made for yarning project bags. Like I use a ton of, like this was $1 at a thrift store. I liked it because it has like dandelion looking things on it, but it's not a project bag. It's just like a tote bag. And then this is a super old, sewed when I was fooling around in high school with sewing as well. Not great construction, patchwork, quilted, horribly lined situation, but it's cute and I still use it. So yes, I don't plan on selling them. I am not making masses of them, but it was really fun to figure out how to do the box bottom. And next, as far as project bag type stuff, I want to learn how to conquer zippers. I am horribly afraid of zippers. I think my sewing machine has a zipper foot. I'm frightened by it. And I've watched lots of videos on zippers, but they scare me. And I don't know why. And it's probably not as scary as I'm making it out to be, because I know there's tons of beginner tutorials and tons of even like how to insert a zipper into crochet as not a sewist kind of stuff. So zippers are probably more durable than I've made them out to be, but I would love to do zippered notion pouch type things. So that's on the agenda, as well as I keep looking over here because it's this whole pile of fabric and ideas and thoughts, and sewing is hard to squeeze into my daytime schedule, and by nighttime I don't have the patience for it. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm getting somewhere. I'm learning things. I wanted to learn how to sew this year, and I'm definitely learning and growing and producing usable things. They are not perfect things. They are not sellable things. They are not put it on a shelf, win an award for it things, but they are functional things that I am making. And I don't think they're horribly homemade looking, still a little homemade looking, but we're getting somewhere. So I'm proud of those project bags. You've seen them by now. Let's move on to the yarn haul. So this yarn haul, I don't even know how I'm going to show it all to you, and I don't know how long it's going to take, so I apologize in advance. But I have approximately, I need to do some conversions into ounces, and I can't really give you a yardage or like monetary value because I have no idea what most of these are. A lot of them are remnants. A lot of them are like local specific. Some of them are super fancy. Some of them are, there was a couple bits of acrylic, but a lot of it is wool. And it is approximately 9.5 pounds of yarn. What I paid for 9.5 pounds of yarn at my sort of ish local Savers, $28. And this was not all one lot of yarn. Somebody must have donated a bunch of stash, and they had it like in different kinds of baggies and like the bags that like when you buy like a comforter, like the plastic zip bags. Some in that, some in the like Savers, like this kind of situation. So yeah, I rolled up to the Savers. My daughter had a camp at our church a couple weeks ago, and my son and I were kind of just wandering around for a couple hours each morning because it's a bit of a drive for us. So I didn't want to go back home, and there wasn't a ton of stuff to do in the area with a nearly 2-year-old. That's frightening. But yeah, a toddler boy. So we went to parks, but it was during the heat wave, so we'd go to the park first thing in the morning and then do a little bit of shopping afterwards at various thrift stores. So I hit a thrift store that I've been to plenty of times. It's actually where I bought my wedding dress, which is a whole separate story, but bought an American-made, handmade lace wedding dress for I want to say $50. I have to ask my mom. I don't honestly remember. But it's the thrift store that I found my wedding dress at. So I've had some good luck there. But yeah, I had originally intended to go to an actual local yarn store that day, but I was iffy on bringing my son into a kind of upscale town yarn store. I'm sure it would have been fine. But he loves yarn because he's very used to me doing fiber arts and whatnot, but I just didn't want him like grabbing stuff off of shelves and throwing it on the ground and like, you know, throwing their cashmere everywhere. So we didn't go to the local yarn store. We went to the thrift store instead, and we were just looking for, you know, normal thrifted things. I always check the books for homeschooling, and I check the clothes for my daughter, and I look about for fabrics and canning jars and that sort of thing. I don't really need anything, but I always look around, and if there's a yarn section, we check it. And I checked it, and oh boy, guys, like if you saw the cover photo, there's so much yarn. And there was some that I didn't even take home with me because it was just like wild variegated colors and whatever. So I don't remember, I'll have to show the original picture of all of the yarn laid out together. And I haven't counted how many individual skeins because like I said, a lot of it is scrap, a lot of it doesn't have labels. But there was this one like quilt bag full of wool scraps. We'll talk about that. This was full, but I've sort of pieced them out from here. These are the really random ones. So this bag was $10. And then from there, I had a bunch of these other like little individual baggies, and we came up to about $28. It's insane. I have an entire this size bowl, and I put it all on my scale, and it's, like I said, almost 10 pounds of yarn. So I don't know where to begin. This bowl is really cold on my legs. It's stainless steel. I'm going to take out some of this. There's going to be a bit of crinkling, and I'm not going to go through each one of these, but I want to give you a quick rundown of like the categories we have going on here. Like I said, they're all various weights and yarn makeups. A lot of it is wool, but I have some fancier things here. So let's look at the fancy bits. All right, these ones we do have labels on. And let's see. This is from Palmer Family Farm. Dark, natural colored yarns, no dyes, home of rare CVM / Romeldale sheep, Tallinn, Connecticut, which is super local to me. And this is CVM / Angora. It is 108 yards for 50 grams. And I would say it is a worsted weight. And hand spun, definitely hand spun. It's got a lot of thick, thin bits to it. This is lovely. It's very lanolin-y. It's sheepy for sure. Some of the yarns have like a fabric softener type smell, which I'm assuming means somebody stored them in something with like a dryer sheet, which I'm not big on fragrance. But I guess if it keeps mice away, that's a plus. And I did, when I got home, I had to do it in batches because I don't have that much freezer space. But anytime you're thrifting yarn, particularly if it's wool yarn, it is a good idea to freeze it for at least 24 hours or leave it out in the sun, but then you can deal with bleaching or color fading. Just in case of any moth type activities, the freezer will take care of that. So put it in bags so you're not dropping yarn thrift in your freezer. But freeze it for 24 hours, you should be good. That's a tip if you're thrifting yarn. But yeah, this is some sort of rare sheep in Angora, which was just in a bag with some other fabulous local things. This is, look, this has a picture of the sheep. How lovely is that? Maggie's Farm, 100% Icelandic wool, which I've not actually worked with before, from Coleraine, Massachusetts, which I'm in Connecticut again, so that's local. And Maggie is the border collie who herds the Icelandic sheep. There's a picture of Maggie. There's a picture of a sheep. There is this beautiful, again, lanolin-y, beautiful worsted weight. Slight prickle to it. Probably wouldn't use it as like a hat, but I think as a mitten or something. This is a beautiful, naturally undyed, gorgeous yarn. So like this alone, I don't remember the prices on all of them. I should have taken better notes, but I was so excited to rip into the bags when I got home. I think those two were together. So that's some Icelandic and some rare fancy Angora situation, hand spun. Then there's these Great Northern yarns, 70% mink, 30% cashmere. DK weight, 230 yards, greatnorthernyarns.com. And I didn't actually look up where that was out of. but this could very well be local to me too. I don't actually know. This is so soft. And I'm assuming, again, this is an undyed color. It's got a picture. I don't know if it's of the specific sheep and mink, but a sheep and a mink. Or goat. I'm sorry, a goat. A cashmere goat. And I was kind of worried about the ethics of mink yarn, because I know that there's like Australian possum yarn they're considered a pest and they are eliminated and turned into yarn. I don't live in Australia, so I don't know what that's all about, but I was worried that we were eliminating the minks. But after posting it, someone, I think it was actually Ruth of Orchard House Editing, we go back and forth quite a bit, she reassured me that minks are not being harmed and that they're either being raised for, I don't think people are going out and catching wild minks. I think they're being raised as fiber animals. I don't honestly know though, but I do know the minks are still alive and well after the making of the yarn. So that's exciting to me. And this one came with a pattern. Where'd the pattern go? Did I pull it out over there? Where did the pattern go? This one came with a mitten pattern, specific to this yarn. I don't know if it's designed by the Great Northern Yarns folk or not. Let me just show it to you. I think it's over there on the floor. I was weighing it on the scale. Sorry. But a beautiful mitten pattern. I don't know if that's what I'll make, but this would make lovely mittens. And this I think I could do on my head. The mink is very soft. And obviously the cashmere is very soft. So this is lovely. And this is more of a, this says it's a DK. Wait, no, that's a DK. So I have a lot of like random things that can't go together and I don't have any particular amount of them. But these are all natural colors in fancy fiber contents, most of which are local to me. So that alone is more than $28 for sure. I didn't look up the pricing on any of these. I probably could find them. I don't know if they all have websites, but that alone, worth the cost. Then I also got some scraps of, oh man, I lost all the, hang on. I gotta go on a tag hunt here. I'll be right back. Okay, I recovered the pattern. Great Northern Yarns. And the yarn looks like it gets a beautiful halo to it. Spiral rib mittens. And it's a whole pattern made specifically for this yarn. I think it's just one size. Yep. And you actually need one skein. And I have two, so I could make multiple pairs of mittens or a mitten and a hat or something. These will probably be worked into something mitten-like. I might do something color work, but either way, that's gorgeous. And the other thing I dropped over there is the tag for this. And I actually recognize this one in the bag. This is Cotton Comfort from Green Mountain Spinnery, which is not super local to me, but I've been there quite a bit. 20% organic cotton, 80% fine wool. I do have a mill tour at Green Mountain Spinnery in Vermont if you would like to check that out. It's on my channel, a working mill. It's super cool. I walk you through the whole mill with one of the co-op owners there. And yeah, Putney, Vermont, been there tons of times and they make awesome yarn. So this is about 60 or so grams, I weighed it, but I forget, of their cotton wool yarn. And this is not my favoritist purple color. So again, it might get over dyed, but again, in a lot of yarn, pretty fantastic. I don't know what just happened with the focus there. I'm sorry, but that was another great find. And then we'll do these two. These were separate in their own little bags, but 2 cones of some fun yarn. This could possibly, there's not really enough of that to really be anything. I could probably again do mittens or something with this, but I don't really want cotton wool mittens. But this is Alpaca Silk from Valley Yarns, Northampton, Mass. Also been there, also have a tour, Webb's Yarn. Valley Yarns is their yarn line. Imported from Peru, 80% alpaca, 20% silk in the color Periwinkle. And it says there was originally 3,472 yards. I do not think that is what is there now. I don't know how much of this cone was used. And it doesn't say in grams or anything what this originally was. So I don't know how much I have here, but it's fun. Again, it's not my color, but as someone who dyes, I always have the option of over dyeing. But for an alpaca silk, again, from a local source, we're here for that. And then this is a more I would say sport weight, fingering weight, something mohair-ish. It's definitely not a lace weight. There's no information inside of this one other than some numbers. I don't know if you can see. That's not going to focus, but it doesn't have any yarn location or makeup info. But it is like a two-ply mohair something or another. And again, there's not a ton of it here. It's definitely been used some, but something floofy to hold double with something, even in like a colorwork yoke or something. Probably like that fuzzy color work. I think this would be great. And again, it's a natural color, I think. I think this is undyed, so I could dye on it very easily. So that was an exciting find as well. We're just getting started though. Hang on, let me get some of this off my lap and then we'll keep it going. So that there was the more identifiable, more luxury, had labels on, full skeins, easily over $100 worth of yarn. Probably headed towards 200. Obviously had some partials in there with the cones and whatnot, but so worth it right there for that haul. Only thing with those is they're all just kind of like single skeins, and I don't really have any, I don't work a lot with bulky or worsted weight, which a lot of this is going to end up being. You can see this mound behind me. We're not even halfway through. But for cheaply priced natural fiber wool, some of which was local yarn, I could not resist, could not say no to that. And I think whoever was pricing it just priced it all the same as far as like what we price acrylic yarn at, what we price Red Heart Super Saver from 1973. We're just gonna price it all the same. So the prices just went up as there was more skeins in the bags, but crazy cheap, so couldn't say no. So here I have 9 skeins, balls, donuts of Lana Grossa Bingo, and I haven't looked to see if this is discontinued or not. Pure extra fine merino wool in the color 8, and it is a tealy navy color. And this one, unfortunately, I don't know if it came from the same household or not, but this one has some shed to it that does not belong to the yarn. And it's making my nose itch. So this, I think, probably, I'm allergic to dogs and cats. This I don't think was a pet-free household. So I'm pondering, I don't know if I want to hank them all up and wash them pre-using them. It'll be fine once I do wash the finished garment, but this might be miserable for me to work with. But I have 9 of these, they're 50 grams each. Navy is not a color that I usually go for, but when I do like this more tealy midnight blue. It's very similar to that skirt that I sewed in the last episode, that same color. And this is a worsted Aran-y type weight, 100% merino. I don't know if it says what the weight is. I can't stand these circular ones where I can't like see the ball band. I can't even find the meterage, but I would say you're a worsted weight. And it's that very plumpy, loose ply that I enjoy. So this, I think is going to end up being the base of a colorwork sweater with some of this chaos in the back here. They're not the same yarns, but this is 100% wool, and those are definitely 100% wool. Those are woolly wool. But this is definitely like more softer, super fine merino. A little worried it's gonna pill because it's loosely plied and it's extra fine merino, which I've had issues with fine merino pilling before, but come on, that's a whole sweater quantity. And yeah, I'm thinking it might become the throwback. There's a throwback and a throw over. The throw over is the pullover version. The throwback's the cardigan by Andrea Mowry. It's a really zigzaggy, it's called the throwback. It's a very 70s-esque colorwork motif, I guess. I really want to do something with zigzags in it. I don't have any zigzaggy color work in my wardrobe, and I would really like some. I don't have a ton of color work in general, but I'm thinking I would like that, and I generally overheat in anything that's more than DK. Even DK, I'm sweaty in the winter in a house with either a fire going or the heat on. We keep our heat like super low in that like it's not warm in our house, so we don't keep it very warm, both for the economy and just the fact I get so overheated. So it's great. My husband wants to save money and I don't want to be sweaty, so we're a great combo. So anything more than DK, I am super hot in the winter. So I think a cardigan would be better than a pullover. That's the only thing keeping me from doing like a full color work yoke type pullover sweater, because even with the color work, it's going to be doubled over itself with the floats and stuff. So I don't think I can do bulky weight color work and actually wear it. So we're thinking throwback cardigan. If anybody has any other great suggestions, I don't know if that one's steeked or if I'm going to have to knit color work flat. I've never done that. I don't think it's anything wildly difficult other than you're carrying floats on both sides, I guess. Or not on both sides, but you're having to knit flat. It might be steeked. I've never steeked anything. But yeah, that's in my, that's what I'm planning on making. But I need to figure out if I have enough of any of these particulars over here. So these are some mystery yarns, other than this one, which is not the same as the others. This one thing is not like the others. This one has a ball band. This one is Joe Sharp Silk Road Aran Tweed, unsurpassed quality. 85% wool, 10% silk, 5% cashmere. Dye lot, something, color willow. So this one is like a 2-ply Aran tweed situation. More sneezing, definitely allergic to the blue yarn. Probably should get that out of here. But this is the only one that has a label on it. These are all similar. I have 2 bags. I sorted them out into warm and cool tones. 2 bags of Aran weight, worsted-ish weight, 2-ply yarns that I would say are similar. I've been trying to identify them based on like the more unique colorways in here. Similar to like Brooklyn tweed shelter in construction and ply. Some of them are more thick thin and some of them are much more consistent. But I have 2 entire bags like this. It's probably the largest one. This is hot pink. Ooh, that is glowing. That is very pink. That is like my daughter's color for sure, not mine at all. But 2 bags of, I think they're all the same yarn. They're definitely 100% wool or a vast majority wool. 2-ply, I'm getting a glare there, sorry. 2-ply woolly yarns. So I need to look at the specifics on the color work breakdowns for the throwback. I definitely like this yellow a lot. This one here is for sure my favorite, but there's just a little nug of that. And I haven't worked with Aran weight often, so looking at this, I'm not sure how far this goes in a color work motif. Like fingering weight, I can look at a ball of that and be like, oh yeah, that'll be enough. I'm not sure. But I like, let's see, I'm gonna pick up this sneezy blue yarn again. I like the yellow. I think throwing a cream in there would be good. I like this dark, no, this one. This I like a lot. That's a very primary color scheme. This one I like better. Those ones I like together a lot. These ones, yes, super primary, triadic, whatever it's called, color theory situation. But this with like a cream or a gray, I think would be fabulous, but I do not know that I have enough of any of these one colors, which makes me also think I need to look into some other color work options for something that has maybe more of like a all over floral motif or something where I could change out like this row the flowers are orange, this row the flowers are red, this row the flowers are blue. I don't know, because I have so many scrappy bits of this and I have no idea other than working it into like color work mittens or something. Again, I don't think I want bulky wool hats. Like this one I just love. I just love this. It almost has like a hand spun look to it. But yeah, I looked on like Yarn Sub going off of like Brooklyn tweed type yarns and found a lot that were similar. Some by Green Mountain Spinnery. It's not that. I can't remember what the other yarn brands were, but some that were very similar but then didn't have very specific colorways like this wild variegated orange one. So those are the ones that I'm really using as the identifiers, like the hot pink and anyone that's like variegated. I'm assuming they're all the same yarn, like I said, because they're all very similar in ply. One might be more of a bulky and one might be more of a worsted. I don't know. But I have so much of it, and then that one Joe Sharp ball as well. So it's going to be color work something, probably with that blue. If anybody has any all over or yoke floral or thin zigzags or something where I'd be able to use So sniffy right now. Use those quantities that I have there, other than just like a wild, I was thinking maybe the Stripe Hype by also Veronica Lindbergh. But again, I don't have any particular enough of any one color, so I would just have to like all over single stripe. I wouldn't mind an all over rainbow striped sweater, if we're being honest, but I wouldn't use that blue as the main color. So ideas for that, please send them my way. There's a lot of yarn there, but it's all scraps. And then there's these. These are all natural fiber, mostly wool. Some of them feel like they might have some acrylic blend in them, but swaths of worsted weight wool yarn here. I definitely could work those in with those other colorwork ones. This is a different, more of a traditionally plied yarn. I'm not taking these all out to show you, but this one definitely could dye on. And then we got a gray and a black. That could go with any of that colorwork situation, I think. Then these I bought originally because I thought I could use them for the cotton cording on drawstring bags, but it is very rope-like and it is thinner than I wanted. I tried it with the first red bag for my mom and then ended up ordering the cording instead because it's just thicker. But this is like cotton rope, very, like it's hurting my hand to hold it now. So I don't know that I'm going to be working with this in a crochet or knit sense, but I think it would be cute for, often during our school year, we do like a garland type thing on the wall with little clippies to hang up either artwork or projects we're working on for our unit studies or whatever. So I think for that purpose, instead of using like twine, I usually use like a kitchen twine kind of thing. I think fun red cotton rope yarn would be something. I have a lot of that, obviously. That's probably 200 grams, 100 grams, I don't know, a lot of grams of heavy cotton red rope yarn. So I don't know if that was actually made for crocheting or knitting with, but I'm not going to be. And then there's just this whole swath of random. So most of those, all of the ones that I just showed you in Ziplocs were originally in this big quilt bag, which is what I found first on the floor. Actually, I think I found the periwinkle cone first and then saw this and I was like, oh, yes. So this big old bag was packed full of all those scraps. And I knew there was going to be some winners and losers in here, but there's a lot of yarn. This is a fun 100% wool, I would say, fingering weight. There are these in green, which I was going to make some socks with. 2-ply. I really like 2-ply yarn, particularly if it's wool. It's pretty hard wearing. Yeah, I like 2-ply. I like the way it looks. Then there's this roving, super scratchy, lopey-esque blue. It could even be something Icelandic. I don't know. I have no tags. That is a major scratch factor for me. There's some more roving type stuff here. Some really, really chonky, really woolly mat. Like that just wants to be a dryer ball or something because that is too rustic for me. What else is in here? This, I think, is acrylic, but it's gray. It's good. It's good to have a gray. Might make something for my son or as like a gift for somebody that it might have some wool content to it. Might be a blend, but I'd say you're mostly acrylic. But other than that, there's not, this is black ones. This black's acrylic for sure. Not a ton of acrylic in here. This fun like grapefruit colored thick thin hand spunny looking one. There's some of this. Like it's all pretty woolly, pretty wild, very scrappy. And yeah, so I don't know that these are all going to be keepers. We're going to keep them for now. I've definitely outgrown the yarn storage that I have. It's funny, I just tried to do a whole stash bust spring and then I bought way more than any of the yarn I got rid of in one day for $28. Like I'm supposed to have, this is supposed to be my scrap yarn bin. This one here is supposed to contain any I want to use in a project. It's enough to do something with, but it's not a full skein kind of yarn. We've definitely outgrown that. These, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with all of this, but it is yarn, it is wool. I'm keeping it, I don't know with it. But yeah, that's my massive yarn haul. So no regrets on that. Did I need it? No. Am I glad I went to the thrift store that day? Yes. And hopefully I'll at least make one really cool garment and then some accessories with like the local woolly fancy mink skeins and whatnot. So let me know, I guess, if you've ever had a great yarn haul from a thrift store or something like that, estate sale, tag sale, gifted to you by a family member or whatever. I've had never that much luck all at once. I've gotten like the little like single baggies of occasionally some kind of, nothing really that great, honestly. Some like wool blends. I don't know. There's some people that I see thrifting fabulous yarn all the time, like Nora of aka Nora Knits. I feel like she's always finding like entire massive cone quantities. My mom thrifts a ton of like pretty good yarn too. Like she'll find like cones and cones of mohair or sweater quantities in wool, that kind of thing. I've never had great luck. And I don't know if it's just I don't go enough, because I find anytime I go into a thrift store, I come out with lots of stuff I didn't know that I needed. I love thrifting, but I don't like needless shopping. So that was definitely needless yarn, but I couldn't say no. So yes, share with me your best thrifty yarn haul, your favorite secondhand yarn finds, thrift vibes, whatnot. And yeah, I will be back. Hopefully all of those whips will be finished or mostly finished, so we'll just be clean slating it next episode. Maybe we'll be, I don't think we're going to be knitting worsted Aran weight color work just yet. We might give it till September. But yeah, we're coming up on the fall knits and crochets and sewing projects and cold weather things. That's really our time to shine. I do like the summer, I call it summer knits, but like, you know, the summer wardrobe that is handmade. Knitwear. I never know how to say like crochet wear, yarn wear, fiber arts wear. It doesn't flow like knitwear does. But just know that as a crochet designer at heart, I include the crochet in there for sure. But yeah, I like making the tank tops and whatnot, but the real time to shine for me is the socks and the color work and the cardigans and the cozy. So cozy season's coming. I know it's still only July, but August by the time you're seeing this, so fall's a coming for us northern hemisphere. It's bedtime. It's time to go. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you in episode 77 soon. We've been doing pretty okay on the schedule thing here, so hopefully I'm keeping it consistent for you. And thanks for hanging out. Like, subscribe, notification bell. I have a newsletter down below that you can feel free to subscribe to as well if you want to make sure to not miss any videos or patterns or content or any good stuff going on here at Fiber and Fox. Glad you guys came, and I will catch you next time.